your real name?
Emma.
Emma. Good. How are you feeling?
Like my insides have been struck with bleach.
Right. Vivid. Before we can start you in group, I'll need to get a historical context for your using.
An A to B and therefore C.
Exactly.
Beginning, middle, end.
Isn't that how life works?
No.
How does life work?
Got a lot of certificates. It's impressive. I've not got that.
You didn't go to university?
Oh, I went to loads. Not for long. What about that scroll?
I can't give you a letter for work, Emma. Not until you've completed the program.
For 28 days.
At least.
Right. Thing is, I came here to get everything out of my system, and I have, nearly. And I really feel like I'm ready to get back out into the real world.
You've addressed the chemical hooks, but not the central cause of your addiction, which is trauma. You've already completed the first stage. You may as well.
I can leave whenever I want, right?
Absolutely.
Great.
But
Thanks. This has been fun. I've changed. I will never use again. Brownie's honor. Goodbye.
Emma, you really should.
you can leave us now, Foster. Thank you. Sit down.
You would sound like my mother. I don't know if that's your copy of Foster's, but I've made some corrections.
Corrections.
Amendments, notes and things. Have you actually read that thing?
Emma, this program works for a lot of people.
Except you don't know that. Nobody does. It's all anonymous. There's nothing evidence-based. It's just anecdotal. So
Emma, if you would let me just...
this is vital to my recovery that I should come to believe in a power greater than me.
Emma, if you will let me...
If I am supposed to believe that I am supposed to be having a spiritual awakening, then I believe that this is all just a waste of time.
It's not.
I think it might be.
You're worried about the steps.
I'm worried that a trained medical professional with this many certificates might also wear a crucifix.
I don't believe the scientific method disproves you.
Such a boring conversation. Of course it does. Of course it fucking does. I really need you to be cleverer than this. I really need you to at least match me intellectually, because otherwise I'm going to leave, and if I leave, I don't know it. I'm not powerless. I'm not helpless. I don't believe addiction is a disease, and I'm scared and angered by the suggestion that from now on, it's either eternal abstinence or binge to death. I can't believe in a higher power because there isn't one. There just isn't. And you, as someone who lives in the 21st century, should know that.
Emma.
I wake up in wet sheets, in places I don't recognize, with bruises all over my body that I can't account for, with men I don't know. I've stolen from people. I've slept on the streets. I am in trouble and I need help, but this book, this process can't help me. You can't help me.
I see a lot of clever people. People who drink and use because they can't stop their big brains from thinking. Does that sound familiar?
You want me to conceptualize a universe in which I am the sole agent of my destiny, while at the same time acknowledging that I am completely powerless. It's a fatal contradiction, and I won't build foundations on a flawed premise.
That is not a fair characterization.
I am not the product of the decisions that I've made or the things that happened to me. I will not be reduced to that.
I am not suggesting...
My brother had a brain hemorrhage while reading Pinocchio to 5-year-olds. Mark. He was 2 years younger than me, and he never touched drugs or alcohol. He ran fucking marathons for charity. I should have died 1,000 times, but it was him who tell you that I was sexually abused, a child of alcoholics, if I tell you that I returned from back-to-back tours of Iraq and started to self-medicate, wouldn't that just be a massive simplification for the complexity of being a human fucking person?
Were you?
Was I what?
Sexually abused.
That's not...
Because we'll also have to do a
You're not
sexual-
listening to what... I first got drunk with my brother when he was 11 and I was 10. I stole 3 bottles of communion wine, and when I vomited, it looked like blood. Is that the kind of thing you want to use?
Is it the truth?
No. I never had a brother. He didn't die in front of children. He died in his car. Or he was stillborn, maybe. Or maybe he grew up and died of old age.
Do you lie to protect yourself or your addiction?
I'm not lying. It's admitting that there's no truth. Have you read Foucault?
Not lately.
Or Derrida? Baudrillard? Barthes?
You're an addict because of postmodernism.
I can't base my survival on slogans and vagueness and abstractions. I can't do Pilates on a beach and mistake relaxation for spirituality. I spent a year in the Far East and I didn't find enlightenment. I found slums and sex tourism. I chose this place because it is empty and it is grey and it is ugly and in the middle of a car park, and I can look out on the traffic and see homelessness and traffic. But I can't believe in a higher power because there isn't one. There just isn't. I need something definitive and I need to be fixed.
It doesn't work like that. It is long term.
I don't do long term.
You're going to learn. Because the strategies you've been using just aren't working. I hear all your concerns about the program. I've heard them all before. You've got it all worked out. Great. But you're still dying. As intellectually inferior as I may be, I'm trying to save your life. Now, sit down. The 12 steps outline the process as it was experienced by its earliest members, and yes, they were about accepting God. But here, we use a modified version with religiously neutral wording. Have you heard of the phrase, powerless over nouns?
Nouns?
As in people, places, and things.
You mean like Facebook?
Excuse me?
Well, in the search box it says,
I don't have a Facebook.
no. Nor do I. I have a profile.
It's a rewrite of step 1 of 12. Instead of declaring ourselves powerless over drugs and alcohol, we are declaring ourselves powerless over people, places, and things. People that make us want to relapse, places that remind us of using, and things that reactivate past behavior. Does that make sense?
Yes.
When you're in recovery,
Back in the real world.
you'll need to learn how to handle being around those people, in those places.
And those things. I find reality to be pretty difficult. find the aspect of just getting on with my day to be really hard. The concept of looking at my phone to be a mammoth fucking struggle. The number on my inbox, friends who won't see me anymore, pictures of salad, the constant news alerts, cars driving into crowds, misogyny, war, the end of the fucking world. The more ambivalence you have to have these days to get out of bed, it's ridiculous. I find that the knowledge of knowing that we are just atoms and one day we will stop and go back into the dirt to be overwhelmingly disappointing. And I wish that I could be like you. I wish I didn't feel that way. I wish I could be like you or my mother. But I can't. I can't because I believe in what's true. What's absolutely, actually, verifiably true. You are able to forfeit rationality for comforting untruths, so how are you supposed to help me? You're looking at the world through such a tight filter. You're barely living it. You're barely alive.
You talk about your mother a lot.
Drugs and alcohol have never let me down. They have always loved me. There are substances that I can put into my body that make the world perfect. That is the only absolute truth in the universe. And I'm being difficult because you're trying to take that away from me, so.
When we fail to make connections with other people, particularly our parents, we seek that connection elsewhere. Drugs, alcohol,
God. Mark, my brother, he believed in God. Wasn't as bright as me. Didn't really stretch himself. He once told me that he believed the entire universe was happening inside of his imagination, and that when he died, everything would be snuffed out. But then he died, and everything carried on, so that's that hypothesis disproved.
I can't force you to stay. I can't force you to tell the truth. But what I can tell you is the program only works if you're honest with yourself, with me, and with others. Denial. Denial is what will kill you, and not good in groups. I can believe that. You've come so far, Emma. Don't let that be for nothing. I'd like you to see how the program works in practice. Meet the group and my colleague Lydia.
Who's Lydia?
See?